Hello, Namaste. Welcome back to my YouTube channel eEducator. Here in this video, Standard 9, Subject Social Science, Chapter number 9, Fundamental Rights, Fundamental Duties, and Directive Principle of a State Policy. Okay, lesson number 9 is related about constitutions of India, fundamental rights and fundamental duties. Here we will discuss about textbook exercise. Okay, textbook exercise के बारे में यहाँ पर डिस्कस करेंगे. प्रीवियस लेसन 8 is already uploaded. बाकी दूसरे चैप्टर के भी वीडियो मैंने अपलोड करके रखे. You can find the video, okay, link in video description box. Even you can also see the playlist of a channel. So subscribe the channels and click on a playlist of a channel where you can find the playlist where you can find the other chapters videos also there. I'm going to upload the videos one by one here in these channels. पहले lesson number 1 का lesson number 13 are all 8 and 13 are already uploaded. 9 का भी अपलोड करूँगा. बाद में दूसरे वीडियो भी यहाँ पर मिलेंगे आपको. हर एक लेसन वाइज ऑब्जेक्टिव के क्वेश्चन भी आपको यहाँ पर मिलेंगे. Okay, so if you have not subscribed the channel, subscribe and share with your friends. Okay, and while writing answer, you make sure that your handwriting must be neat and clean, and you write the answers into the point wise. Okay, जितने भी questions है, जितने भी आप उनके आंसर लिखते हो, sure that आपके handwriting neat and clean है, handwriting अच्छे है और आप सभी आंसर पॉइंट वाइज पर लिख रहे हो. Okay, write the answers point wise. Let's start a discussion of a exercise. Answer the following questions given below. Textbook exercise. Okay, here. Write in brief about the fundamental rights being incorporated in the Constitution. So what we write about the fundamental rights. Incorporated means included in a Constitution. Constitution के अंदर जितने fundamental rights है उनके बारे में आपको लिखना है. ब्रीफ थोड़ा थोड़ा फंडामेंटल 6 फंडामेंटल है उसके सभी के बारे में लिखना है यहाँ पर. स्टार्ट विद ईच सिटीजन इज गिवन फंडामेंटल राइट्स इन इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. सो ईच सिटीजन्स, all the citizens in the country, each citizens in the country by birth they get fundamental rights. So fundamental rights has been given by constitution to India by birth. Each citizens of India get the fundamental rights. There are 6 fundamental rights. How many fundamental rights? 6. Which are those 6 fundamental rights? They are as follows: right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational right, and 6th number, right to constitutional remedies. Okay, these are the 6 fundamental rights: right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, freedom of religions, cultural and educational right, and right to constitutional remedies. These are the 6 fundamental rights which has been mentioned in a constitution. A constitution के अंदर ये mention किया है. Part number 3 of a constitution. Part number 3 article number 12 to article number 35 तक के articles है वो right to fundamental से related है. Right to equality. So what equality status there? Right to equality क्या कहता है कि equality before the law. What is suggested there? Right to equality. What right to equality means? Equality before the law. All the citizens in the country are equal against the law. I mean, all the citizens in India, they have equal protections of a law in the country. Now prohibition of discrimination on ground of religion, race and caste. Okay, all the citizens, there is a prohibitions. All the persons are considered equally. So here is a prohibition. Prohibition stop किया जाता है. Discriminations on the base of a religious, caste, race के हिसाब से लोगों को discriminate नहीं किया जाएगा. All the peoples are considered equally. Peoples are not discriminated on the base of the religions, based of the caste, race, originally what they belong, their persons here. Okay, उसके background के हिसाब से उसको discrimination नहीं किया जाएगा. Each and every citizens are considered equal before the law, and all the citizens equal protections of a law. Equal opportunity in matter of employment in terms of getting a job or in work. All the peoples, okay, in the countries are given a equal opportunity. Each citizens of India gets equal of protection of a law. All the citizens are protected by the law, and all the citizens are protected equally. Whatever the law is framed for the country is are equally for the everyone. Right to freedom. So under the right to freedom, certain freedoms has been given to the citizens of India. Okay, अलग-अलग freedoms दी जाती है Indian को. Like so when Constitution of India provides the citizens of India 6 types of freedom which were given there, which are under here. 6 types of freedom which are there. Freedom of speech and expressions. Every citizens in the country, they have freedom of a speech and expressions. Expression in terms of expression of our thoughts and ideas. Okay, they can express the thoughts, ideas. Freedom of a speech and expression. Second number, to assemble peacefully without the arms. Second, the people can be assembled peacefully without arm. हथियारों के बिना आप आराम से असेंबली कर सकते हो. आप एक ग्राउंड के अंदर आप इकट्ठे हो सकते हो पीसफुल, कोई भी हथियार के बिना आप आराम से अपनी असेंबली गैदरनेस हो सकती है वहाँ पर. टू फॉर्म एसोसिएशन और यूनियन. फॉर स्पीच का एक्सप्रेशन, freedom of speech. Second number, peacefully to have assembly peacefully. Another third number, to form association or union. Every citizens in the country, they have freedom to form association. अलग अलग association बना सकते हो, अलग अलग union बना सकते हो. टीचर का यूनियन होता है, लॉयर का यूनियन रहता है. डिफरेंट यूनियंस आर देयर, एसोसिएशंस आर देयर. दे आर फ्री टू फ्रेम देयर एसोसिएशन और यूनियन. To move freely throughout the territory of India, all the citizens are allowed to free throughout the territories of India. They can freely move all the parts of the country. आप इंडिया के हर एक पार्ट के अंदर आप जा सकते हो. ऑल द टेरिटरीज ऑफ इंडिया. जो रिस्ट्रिक्टेड एरिया है उससे छोड़ के आप सही जगह पर ऑल द एरियाज विल बी अलाउड है. मूव फ्रीली थ्रू आउट द टेरिटरीज ऑफ इंडिया. इंडिया की टेरिटरीज में, टेरिटरी है मीन्स आपको गुजरात से महाराष्ट्र जाना है, महाराष्ट्र से फिर आपको केरला जाना है, तो कहीं आपको स्टेट में जाके कहीं परमिशन लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. आप फ्रीली वहां पर जाके मूव कर सकते हो. Fifth number, to reside and settle in any part of a territory of India. You can reside, you can freely move any territories of India, any states of India, and you can also reside there. You can live there. Reside and settle any part of the countries, any part of a territory. आप कहीं पर जाकर आप settle हो सकते हो, वहां पर रह सकते हो. Sixth number, to practice any professions or any carry out occupations, trades or trade or business is there. So you can reside any part of a countries, any parts of a territories of India, and you can carry out your professions there, your business there, your occupations any part of a countries. You can do the trade with them. So 6 freedoms has been applicable for all the citizens of India. Freedom of speech, and with having there you can have a assembly, peaceful assembly, rallies और सब आप निकाल सकते हो with the permission. Peaceful without arm के बिना आपको permission दी जाती है. To form association or union, to move freely throughout the territories. You can move freely. With the freely movement, you can reside there. You can, with the reside, you can carry out the professions any part of a country. So 6 freedoms. Now third number, right against exploitations. Third fundamental rights, right against exploitation. That main aims of a constitution to make a society exploitation free. Exploitation, if someone who are treated illegally, so they have right to raise the voice, that person's here. So main objective of the constitution is to see any person does not suffer exploitation at the hand of other persons here. So main purpose of a constitution, that to see that the persons of the country are not exploited by any other persons in a territories or in India. Now abolition of traffickings. Abolition of trafficking. Trafficking, illegal selling of a human being. These are things are included in a human trafficking. Children who are kidnapped, they are sold illegally. These are parts of a trafficking here, human trafficking. Drudgery, the kind of a work which you do not like, still आपके पास forcefully वो आपके पास काम करवाया जाता है. Drudgery, slavery, forced labors, they are banned. As per these act, these are banned. Forcefully आपके पास कोई काम नहीं करवा सकता है. Any child under the age of 14 cannot be made to work. Child which are under the 14 age cannot be made to work in a factories, mine और any dangerous professions. hotels के अंदर वो काम नहीं कर सकता है. कैन नॉट बी मेड अ वर्क्स. ओके, उसके चिल्ड्रन को आप 14 ईयर के नीचे की एज वाले चिल्ड्रन को आप काम पर नहीं रख सकते हो. अंडर द प्रोहिबिशन ऑफ चाइल्ड लेबर एक्ट all these are punishable offense, and all these are punishable. What thing is punishable? Offense means crime. here work factories के अंदर काम करता है, dangerous profession के अंदर children काम करते हैं, they are against, these are the violation of children rights. Fourth number, right to freedom of religion. Freedom of religion. It means all the citizens in the country have given a freedom to choose their religions here. So any citizen of India can follow any religions. All the citizens in the country, they have a freedom to follow the religions, their choice, and can promote here. You can follow the religions. They have a freedom to promote the religion, to spread the religions here. अपना religions कोई भी follow कर सकते हैं, उसको spread भी कर सकते हैं. And all religions are equal before the state. Before the state here means government, or okay, against the constitution or the country here. So all the religions are considered equal. India is a secular country. All the religions peoples are considered equal. None of the major or minor. All the citizens, all the religions are considered the equal here. So state cannot discriminate between the religions or sects. The state cannot be make a discriminations between religion. Fifth number, cultural and educational rights. Now there are various types of religions, language, cultures in India. So number of peoples who live in India, we had a number of religious people in India. All the religions have a different language, they have different cultures in the country. So one can get admissions in any educational institutions here. The educational rights has been given here, cultural rights has been given here. So that is any educational institution के अंदर कोई भी आप admission ले सकते हो without a discrimination on the religious or language. A person cannot be discrimination on to get admission on the background of the religions here. अपने religions के हिसाब से उसको discrimination नहीं किया जा सकता. So Constitution provides a right to its citizen to form and manage any of the educational institution based on culture. Look at even Constitution of India, they provide rights. Okay, Constitution of India, they provides rights. क्या rights provide करती है? To frame the educational institution based on culture, based on linguistic here. Okay, they also provide a right to the religions to frame the institution based on the religions, based on the culture or linguistic minority के हिसाब से स्कूल भी educational institution वो बना सकते हैं. Right to constitutional remedies here. Okay, is one of the important fundamental rights in a constitution. So the special characteristic of our constitution is right to constitutional remedies here. Any citizens of a country can resort to court of a law for violations of her fundamental right. If you think your fundamental rights has been violated, so under the right to constitutional remedy, you can file the writ into the Supreme Court or in the High Court here. So in the resort of to court of law, you can take the help of a court if you think that your fundamental rights has been violated. आप ऐसे सोचो कि मेरा fundamental rights यहाँ पर violate हो रहा है, तो आप right to constitutional remedy के हिसाब से आप कोर्ट में जा सकते हो. You can file the case against that violation of the fundamental rights. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar or Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar has considered these rights as a soul of the constitution. So Ambedkar जी ने ये rights को soul of a constitution बोला गया. Okay, they consider soul of a constitution. No one can take your fundamental rights. No one can frame the kind of act which violate the fundamental rights here. So if kind of acts which made by the government which violate the fundamental rights, so under these rights, right to constitutional remedies, any citizens of the country can file the writ into the court, Supreme Court or any any high court of a state. Second number, describe the importance of a directive principle of a state policy. What are the importance of these directive principles of a state policy? Okay, as mentioned, the directive it means a provided directions. किसको direction? It provide a direction to the state government to frame the various policy. So Indian Constitution has included directive principle of a state policy in the fourth section of a constitution. Okay, in the fourth sections of the constitution these things has been included. Directive DPSP, simply आपको directive principle of a state policy DPSP in a lesson number chapter number और part number 4 बोल सकते हो आप, part number 4 of a constitution. पार्ट नंबर 3 पार्ट नंबर है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का, उसके अंदर फंडामेंटल राइट्स दिए गए. पार्ट नंबर 4 में डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ अ स्टेट पॉलिसी डीपीएसपी यहाँ पर इंक्लूड की गई है. नाउ दिस डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स आर प्रोवाइड अ गाइडेंस to the center and state government for making a various policy. What does DPSP do? They provide a guidance. To whom it provide a guidance? It provide a guidance to the center and state government. It provide a guidance to the center and state government. Center and state government को guidance provide करते हैं. किस में guidance provide करते हैं? To frame the various policy. अलग अलग policies होती है to frame the policy, like economic policy, health policies. ओके, अलग अलग पॉलिसीज जो बनाते हैं गवर्नमेंट, और पॉलिसी को फ्रेम करने के लिए पॉलिसी के अंदर क्या होना चाहिए क्या नहीं होना चाहिए वो उसके लिए गाइडेंस देने के लिए ये प्रिंसिपल्स कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अंदर रखे गए कि फॉर द वेलफेयर ऑफ अ पीपल ये पॉइंट्स आपकी पॉलिसी में होने चाहिए. इसलिए डायरेक्टिव्स प्रोवाइड डायरेक्शंस दी गई है गवर्नमेंट को फॉर मेकिंग दिस पॉलिसी. So the kind of country we want to create, the kind of a country, the welfare countries we want to create, that the kind of a societies we want to construct, that vision reflects in directive policies. What in reject? Okay, what is reflect in directive policy? Like whatever the societies we want to frame, that kind of a countries we want to construct there, that kind of a values we want to install among the people or in the societies there. That related principles has been mentioned in this policies or in this directive policies. So directive principles are actually directions given by the constitution. These directions are given by the constitution. To whom a direction is given? It given to the state. State here means a government. Government here means state government and a central government, both here. Given to the constitution, union and state government. Union here means a central government and state government. To the adopt such policies, it would help to establish unbiased societies in our country. So with following these policies here, if the policies are included in a various जो भी rules regulations जो दिए गए, rules regulation नहीं, जो भी policies जो दी गई है, अगर वो policy को implement किया जाए while framing such kind of policies, तो उसके अंदर वी कैन फ्रेम द सोसाइटी, अनबायस्ड सोसाइटी को हम फॉर्म कर सकते हैं. अलग अलग पॉलिसीज रहती है. फ्यू पॉलिसीज विच आर गिवन इन अ टेक्स्ट बुक, आपके टेक्स्ट बुक में बहुत सारे दी गई है कि इकोनॉमी वाली पॉलिसी दी गई है, सोशल पॉलिसी है, पॉलिटिकल पॉलिसीज, एजुकेशन पॉलिसीज, हेल्थ पॉलिसीज होती है. उसके अंदर क्या इंक्लूड करना चाहिए उसके रिलेटेड गाइडेंस दी जाती है. नेक्स्ट नंबर, एक्सप्लेन importance of a fundamental rights. Right, what are the importance of these fundamental rights? So the rights which not rights here means certain freedoms. Okay, rights means freedoms which have been given in the constitution for all the citizens of India. These freedoms has been given to the all the citizens of India from birth till death here. So some freedoms has been given. What are the importance? These rights which not only give the personal his or existence but also development in which society helps to construct an environment which enable him to her to grow. Okay, these fundamental rights which provide such kind of an environment to a person which they can grow. Overall developments of a persons can be carried out in a society is there. So they enable the citizens. They enable the citizens to grow in a constructive environment. Constructive environment means a good environment. अच्छी सोसाइटी का वो कंस्ट्रक्शन हो सकता है, अच्छी सोसाइटी का फॉर्मेशन होता है, अच्छा एक ह्यूमन बीइंग बन सकता है. So a person is not discriminated. Person is not discriminated on basis of caste. Okay, all the citizens are considered equal. No person can be discrimination. So to provide them equality, these fundamental rights has been implemented here. Okay, basis of rights and the protection of these rights assured by societies and nation as well here. So these rights are protected and they give a surety for the protection of these rights. It provides a dignified life to the human being. So there is no discrimination. People can live dignified lives. एक मान सम्मान के साथ उसको जिंदगी जी सकता है. डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं हो सकता है यहाँ पर. It helps to citizen for all round development of a citizen, all round development of a people. Fourth number, what is reasonable control and limitation? Certain controls has been given, reasonable controls दिए गए, limitations दी गई है किसके ऊपर? right to freedom. some right to freedoms has been given, right to freedom of speech, सब कुछ दिया गया है, but there has a certain limitation. वो कैसे उसको एक्सरसाइज करना है, वो राइट्स को आपको कैसे यूज करना है, उसके रिस्ट्रिक्शन भी वहां पर लिखे गए कि हाउ राइट टू फ्रीडम हैज बीन एक्सरसाइज्ड, और राइट टू फ्रीडम कैसे एक्सरसाइज होगा। अब ओके, उसके कोई लिमिटेशन, आप ज्यादा आगे जाओगे तो आपके लिए पनिशमेंट भी हो सकती है। व्हाट पनिशमेंट, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ पनिशमेंट है, लिमिटेशन हैज बीन गिवन। लुक एट लिमिटेशन क्या है कि द स्टेट कैन कंट्रोल एंड लिमिट्स राइट टू फ्रीडम इफ दे गो अगेंस्ट द वेलफेयर। वेलफेयर मीन्स वेलफेयर ऑफ अ सोसाइटी, लोगों के अगेंस्ट में जाता है। इफ दे डिस्टर्ब द पीस ऑफ अ कंट्रीज हियर एंड सिक्योरिटीज ऑफ अ सोसाइटी, द स्टेप्स कैन बी टेकन अगेंस्ट द पर्सन। Now, various freedoms given by the Constitution for the welfare, for the peace securities of societies in state, among them, which one has to be exercised in a limits and control. Okay, all the freedom, what are the 6 types of freedoms which we discuss in a fundamental rights? These 6 types of freedom, whatever the freedoms has been given, it should be exercised in a limit. Unlimited way आपको नहीं दिया गया, certain limitations are there, certain controls has been mentioned here. You have a right to freedom of a speech. आपको अपना स्पीच अधिकार है, बोलने का अधिकार है। बोलने का अधिकार उनका मतलब ये नहीं कि कुछ भी बोलोगे। यू कैन नॉट मेक अ स्टेटमेंट विच, आप ऐसा स्टेटमेंट नहीं बना सकते विच क्रिएट्स अ प्रॉब्लम्स इन द सोसाइटीज हियर। ओके, जो जिसकी वजह से सोसाइटी के अंदर प्रॉब्लम हो, एक रिलीजियस या दूसरे रिलीजियस के बीच में प्रॉब्लम हो, वैसा स्टेटमेंट आप नहीं बना सकते हो, नहीं बोल सकते पब्लिकली। So provisions are made for them, certain provisions, certain restrictions has been made for them, which are reasonable controls and limitations here. So they are called reasonable controls and limitations, उसको बोला जाता है। So various freedoms which are given, constitution for the welfare of peace and security, ये जो दी गई है उसको limitations में include की जाती है। Fifth number, right about the preventive detention, इसके बारे में लिखना है। So if the state anticipate any criminal deeds or activities for any person, okay, as a precautionary measures can be taken, can be detained by the state and under the preventive detention. Look at anticipate, if a state government thought that, if a state government को ऐसा लगता है, if state government and central government, if a government who think that the person is going to do crimes in a future, ऐसा लगता है कि ये person की वजह से सोसाइटी के अंदर प्रॉब्लम होने वाला है, okay, इनकी वजह से कोई क्रिमिनल एक्टिविटीज होने वाली है सोसाइटी की वजह से, ये व्यक्ति की वजह से कोई दंगा होने वाला है सोसाइटी के अंदर, क्योंकि ये व्यक्ति की वजह से कहीं ब्लम्बास हो सकता है कहीं पर, ऐसा लगता है क्यों, तो वो क्या करते हैं गवर्नमेंट अरेस्ट द पर्सन बिफोर दे डू द वर्क हियर। अंडर द प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन पर्सन्स कैन बी डिटेन, दे हैव द कस्टडीज ऑफ पुलिस के अंदर उसको पकड़ लिया जाता है, उसको ओके 2 दिन के लिए 5 दिन के लिए रख दिया जाता है, जेल के अंदर रख सकते हो। मैक्सिमम डिटेंशन पीरियड 3 मंथ का होता है, 3 मंथ से एक्सटेंड भी हो सकता है वो। सो प्रिकॉशनरी स्टेट, दीज आर द प्रिकॉशनरी मेजर है, ऐसा नहीं कि प्रिकॉशनरी मेजर इट मीन्स दैट वो व्यक्ति को क्राइम करने से रोकना है, व्यक्ति जो क्राइम करने जा रहा है वो क्रिमिनल व्यक्ति ना हो, उसको रोकने के लिए ये प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन है। पर्सन्स आर डिटेन मतलब उसको पकड़ के जेल में रख दिया जाता है, उसकी डिटेंशन कस्टडीज हो जाती है बाय द स्टेट्स अंडर द प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन एक्ट। The purpose of this act is to not to punish a convict में जो भी गुनहगार है, not to punish them, but the main purpose क्या है कि to stop him for doing any criminal activities, क्रिमिनल एक्टिविटीज करने से उसको रोकने का काम है किसके, प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन का। एंड सोसाइटीज और इंडिविजुअल के कहीं पर भी क्राइम ना हो, उसकी वजह से अंडर द प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन पर्सन कैन बी अरेस्टेड। अंडर दिस एक्ट पर्सन कैन बी डिटेन नॉट मोर देन 3 मंथ, 3 मंथ से ज्यादा उसको डिटेन नहीं कर सकते। नो डाउट डिटेंशन पीरियड कैन ऑल्सो बी इंक्रीज, बट विद द हेल्प ऑफ अ कोर्ट का डिसीजन से इसका डिटेंशन पीरियड इंक्रीज भी हो सकता है। कि डिटेंशन और ऑर्डर कैन बी कैंसल बेस्ड ऑन द ओपिनियन ऑफ अ जजेस, और सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जज के हिसाब से और एडवाइजरी बोर्ड के हिसाब से पर्सन कैन बी रिलीव बिफोर द 3 मंथ, और 3 मंथ से ज़्यादा भी हो सकता है भाई, बट जनरली 3 मंथ से ज़्यादा होता नहीं है डिटेंशन पीरियड जो होता है. Number 6, mention the fundamental duties as mentioned in the constitutions. So originally these fundamental duties कितनी थी? Originally it was a 10 fundamental duty. How many? It was a 10 fundamental duties. Later on these fundamental duties were increased to 11. 86 amendment 2002 के अंदर ये duties को 11 duties बना दी गई. Presently 11 duties है. Look at these fundamental duties are okay. These fundamental duties जो है, these are the responsibilities of citizens. As a citizens, as we get the fundamental rights by the birth, okay, by the birth, as same these duties also should be performed by the citizens of India by birth here. ये fundamental duties है, these are the responsibilities of a citizen. It should be performed there. As we get the fundamental rights, as we get a freedoms in by the constitution, so these are the certain moral duties of a citizens of India. It should be performed here. ये duties है, every citizen must be performed here. कौन सी है? Number 1, abide by the constitution and respect its ideals. So we should abide here means we need to follow the constitution, accept the constitution, and whatever the ideals has been mentioned in a constitution should be respected there. A national flag है, national anthem को respect होना चाहिए. Next number, second number है to cherish and follow the noble. Cherish means to take care, to good care of noble ideals which inspire our national struggle freedoms here. Okay, national struggle for the freedom. Whatever our freedom fighters are there, whatever the ideals was there, जितने भी फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल के अंदर पार्टिसिपेट किया था उसके हाई आइडियल्स है. वी शुड गेट इंस्पायर्ड अवर नेशनल स्ट्रगल फॉर फ्रीडम हियर विच नीड टू टेक केयर ऑफ दिस एंड फॉलो द नोबल आइडियल्स फॉर द betterment of a country. C number. Third number, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unities and integrities of a country. Uphold means to hold. What we need to hold and protect our sovereignty. Sovereignty means independence here. Unity is here. Integrities of a country should be protected. We should not do kind of a work which create a problem of a unities of a country. So it's a responsibilities of a country's citizens of India we should protect here. D है, okay, fourth number, to defend the countries and render national services when called upon to do here. Okay, render मतलब to provide here. When it required here, it is a citizen. It is responsibility for citizens when countries require your help. When countries require national services here, once you are called to help the societies here, so responsibility it is a responsibility of a citizen to help the societies here. In kind of a natural calamities होता है, कुछ भी situation होती है, तो ऐसे service के अंदर as a human being we need to provide help to them. E, to promote harmony. Harmony means to provide the peace in the societies here and spirit of a common brotherhood. Common brotherhood means all the citizens in the countries are our brothers here. Brotherhood should be provided. Friendly relations should be developed here among all the people of India. Transcending religion, transcending beyond the religions here. The religions is not a kind of hindrance here. Beyond the religions वो मायने नहीं रखता है. कोई भी रिलीजन्स का है, कोई भी पर्सन है, कोई भी लैंग्वेज का है, कोई भी रिलीजन सेक्शन है, डाइवर्सिटीज का है, कोई भी पर्सन है, renounce practice of derogatories to dignities of a women. Derogatories mean disrespectful works to attitudes towards the women. Derogatory kind of attitudes means disrespect. Disrespectful attitudes towards the human beings. With the derogatory works बोल सकते हो. We should respect the dignities of a women here. Okay, next number. F, to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. So India has a rich culture, so it is a responsibility of a citizen. We should protect and preserve our rich and varied culture, heritage and culture. Next number G है, to protect and improve the natural environment including like a forest. We need to, the responsibility of as a citizen we should protect our natural environment which include like a forest, lakes, rivers, wildlife, and to have a compensation for the living creation. compensation मतलब उसके तरफ दया होनी चाहिए. किसके तरफ? लिविंग क्रिएचर. और द लिविंग क्रिएचर है वाइल्ड एनिमल्स है, बर्ड्स है, उसके तरफ वी मस्ट हैव द कंपेंशन towards the person, towards the wild animals and birds here. Now, to develop the scientific temper, humanisms, and spirit of inquiry and reforms, we should develop kind of a scientific mind, scientific temper must state of a mind. Your thinking must be in a scientific here, humanisms के थ्रू होना चाहिए, and spirit of inquiry. Spirit of inquiry means need to be asked. H number, to develop the scientific temper, humanisms, and the the spirit of inquiry and reforms here. Okay, our state of minds here must be in a scientific way. We need to think in a scientific way. Our temper means state of a mind here. Whatever is the state of mind here, both scientific होना चाहिए, or we need to develop a spirit of inquiries here. And for the reform means to change, to make a development in the countries here. We think in a kind of a scientific way. We need to do more inquiry. Spirit of inquiry means we must have the kind of a courage to know new things in a in the way here. काम कैसे अच्छी तरह से नया काम कर पाए, इंक्वायरी कर पाए, और we can okay जी, to develop the scientific temper, okay, we need to develop a scientific state of mind to think scientifically for the development of a countries. Humanisms and spirit of inquiry must have to reform the country, to develop the country. Next number, to safeguard public property and to absorb violence. It is a responsibility of our citizens. We should safeguard the public property, need to safeguard, protect the public property and abjure the violence. Abjure the violence means to give up the violence. We should not do the violence at the public places. Next number, to strive towards excellence in all the sphere of individuals and collective activities, so that nations constantly rise to higher levels of endeavors and achievement. Okay, here to strive towards we need to do the great efforts wherever you are working there, whatever the sphere we are working there, wherever you are working, कहीं पर जहाँ पर भी आप काम करो, कोई भी फील्ड में आप काम करो, जहाँ so we need to strive towards excellencies. जहाँ पर भी आप काम करो, work great efforts वहाँ पर डालिए अपना जितना हो सके ज़्यादा, and all the sphere individually and collectively, individually भी और collectively आप group में काम करो, group के अंदर, so that nations constantly rise the higher level here. So it helps to develop the countries here in higher level of endeavor and achievements here. Endeavor means try the fully hard works and achieve the development here of a country here. Okay, next number क्या है कि who is parents or guardians to provide opportunity for educations. Now these are the responsibility of a guardians or parents. These are duties of a parents to provide their children to have the opportunity of educations, or in case of me ward or between age 6 to 14 years as a right to education, as a RTA जो दिया जाता है, right to education, 6 to 14 year का जो children है, they must have a right to get a primary education, and it is a responsibility of their ward or their parents, okay, or that to send the children for the education. 7 number, look at answers are the long here. आपको ऐसा लगा कि लॉन्ग आंसर है, और टेक्स्ट बुक एक्सरसाइज के अंदर भी बहुत सारे आंसर दिए गए हैं. आंसर्स आर द लॉन्ग, चैप्टर भी इतना लंबा भी है, आंसर भी बड़े बड़े दिए गए यहाँ पर. लिस्ट नंबर 7, ओके सॉरी, आंसर 7 में क्या कि मेंशन द राइट्स अंडर द माइनॉरिटी प्रोविजन. माइनॉरिटी प्रोविजन के अंदर कौन से राइट्स दिए गए हैं. सो एनी ऑफ द स्टेट कैन फ्रेम अ लॉ. माइनॉरिटीज का राइट क्या है कि एनी state here means the government can frame a law, okay, which provides a right to its citizens here from any manage any educational institution based on cultural or linguistic based on minority based. So minority के हिसाब से linguistic minorities है, okay, educational institutions वहाँ पर बना सकते हैं. So they can manage education institution based on linguistic, based on religion minority के हिसाब से भी education institutions वहाँ पर हो सकती है. The state shall not discriminate in giving educational grants. Okay, state cannot be make a discriminations to give educational grants or educational scholarship the state funds to any of the linguistic or religious minorities here, to any kind of a linguistic or minority institution, whatever linguistic or minority institutions are there, state must give the grants to them. grant ना उसको स्कूल बनाने के लिए या कोई एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस बनाने के लिए ग्रांट वहां पर देनी. ग्रांट हियर मीन्स मनी शुड बी गिवन टू देम. एजुकेशनल स्कॉलरशिप स्टूडेंट वहाँ जो भी वहाँ पर पढ़ते हैं माइनॉरिटीज के अंदर, माइनॉरिटी रिलीजन, माइनॉरिटी लैंग्वेजिक वाले के अंदर पढ़ते हैं, उनको स्कॉलरशिप भी देनी चाहिए. Now, if the state decide to take over a confiscated the property, to confiscating में to take away the properties of a minority property के ऊपर वो अगर लेना चाहते हैं, minority institution को लेना चाहते हैं, तो उसको proper return देना चाहिए. So to give, after giving a proper return, government can take over these properties of a minority. Write a short note. Okay. The question number one के अंदर 7 क्वेश्चन थे, हो गए. क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 है राइट द शॉर्ट नोट. शॉर्ट नोट के अंदर भी कितनी राइट्स दी गई है? 6 शॉर्ट नोट्स दी गई है. 6 शॉर्ट नोट के बाद आपको मिलेंगे 12 गिव रीजंस दिए गए. एक्सरसाइज ही लॉन्ग है, बहुत क्वेश्चन भी इसके अंदर दिए गए. शॉर्ट नोट है राइट टू इक्वालिटी हियर. राइट टू इक्वालिटी हियर, सो इक्वल प्रोटेक्शंस ऑफ इक्वल प्रोटेक्शंस ऑफ क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 राइट शॉर्ट नोट. एक्सरसाइज लॉन्ग है, क्वेश्चन भी ज्यादा एक्सरसाइज के अंदर दिए गए हैं. क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 के अंदर 7 है. क्वेश्चन 2 राइट टू शॉर्ट नोट, 6 शॉर्ट नोट दी गई, उसके बाद 12 गिव रीजन है. ओके, नंबर 1 है राइट टू इक्वालिटी. राइट टू इक्वालिटी, व्हाट इज सजेस्ट दिस शॉर्ट नोट? उसके अंदर क्या लिखेंगे हम? वी राइट 6 to 7 points here. So equality before the law and equal protection of a law. What right to equality says है, all the persons have the equal, so equality before the law, हर एक persons equal against के सामने, law के सामने, sorry against के law के सामने, okay, all the peoples are equal against the law and all the citizens in the country they have equal protections of a law. These are included in rights to equality. ये जो right to equality के अंदर include किया है. According to these rights, no person shall be shown favoritisms on the basis of color, caste. So there is a no discrimination or should not be shown a favoritisms on the basis of a caste, on the basis of a color, languages के हिसाब से, creed के हिसाब से फेवरेट नहीं दिखाना चाहिए वहाँ पर. Next number, law is equal to all. The law of a country is prevail to equal for the every persons in the country, that is from peon to the prime ministers. Law is equally applicable for all the citizens in the country from peon to the prime minister. Of a peon to the prime minister, it means that if they act against the law, if they do the crime, पियून क्राइम करता है, प्राइम मिनिस्टर भी क्राइम करता है, दोनों एक जैसा ही क्राइम करता है, तो उनको एक जैसे ही पनिशमेंट मिलेगी. ऐसा नहीं कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर को अलग मिलेगा, पियून को कोई पनिशमेंट अलग मिलेगी. सो इफ दे डू द सेम काइंड ऑफ अ क्राइम, दे हैव सेम काइंड ऑफ पनिशमेंट. अगर सेम काइंड नहीं करते, कोई भी क्रिमिनल एक्टिविटीज करती है, तो दोनों को पनिशमेंट होती है. जो भी क्राइम किया है, क्राइम के हिसाब से उसकी पनिशमेंट रहती है. सो फ्रॉम द पियून टू द प्राइम मिनिस्टर, इफ दे अगेंस्ट अ लॉ, दे आर ट्रीटेड इक्वली एंड बाउंड टू बी जनरल कोड ऑफ लॉ, कि उसको कोर्ट के अंदर हाजिर किया जाता है, उसके क्रिमिनल एक्टिविटी के हिसाब से उसको पनिशमेंट भी मिलती है. हाउएवर द सम प्रेसिडेंट एंड गवर्नर्स को सर्टेन प्रिविलेजेस है, सर्टेन राइट्स है. जब प्रेसिडेंट एंड गवर्नर अपनी पोस्ट पर होते, a person who is a president, a person who is a governor, so no one can file the kind of a criminal case over the प्रेसिडेंट और गवर्नर. कोई भी रिक्ट और प्रेसिडेंट के ऊपर या गवर्नर के ऊपर केस फाइल नहीं हो सकता है. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि प्रेसिडेंट गवर्नर कोई क्राइम कर सकता है. ओके, कोई प्रेसिडेंट ने या गवर्नर ने क्राइम किया है, तो उसका प्रोसीड्यूर कुछ थोड़ा अलग रहता है. कि लाइक कि प्रेसिडेंट जो व्यक्ति है, प्रेसिडेंट या गवर्नर है, उनको पहले पोस्ट से रिमूव कर दिया जाता है. मतलब एज अ प्रेसिडेंट एंड एज अ पोस्ट ऑफ अ प्रेसिडेंट है, जब प्रेसिडेंट के होते हुए उन्हें कुछ क्राइम किया है, तो जब तक वो प्रेसिडेंट की पोस्ट ऊपर है तब तक उसे कुछ नहीं होगा. लेकिन जैसे पता चला कि क्राइम किया है, तो प्रेसिडेंट को अपनी पोस्ट से निकाल दिया. कौन निकालेगा? पार्लियामेंट के अंदर प्रोसेस होगा कि एज अ जो भी कैंडिडेट है को प्रेसिडेंट के पोस्ट से निकाला जाएगा. प्रेसिडेंट की पोस्ट से निकालने के बाद ओके, द प्रोसीड्यूर इज कैरिड आउट इन द कोर्ट, ऐसा मतलब से एक प्रेसिडेंट है, मतलब छोड़ नहीं दिया जाएगा, बट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अंदर प्रोसीड दिया गया यही कि प्रेसिडेंट के पास थोड़े लेजिस्लेचर भी पावर्स उनको दिए गए, अगर उसके ऊपर कोई फाइल करेगा केस तो खुद प्रेसिडेंट के पास पावर होता है, वो जो केस फाइल हुआ है उसको निकाल सकता है वो। सो इसकी वजह से वन द प्रेसिडेंट और गवर्नर जब के पावर पर होते तो उनको उस टाइम पर कोई भी टाइप का केस, सिविल केस या क्रिमिनल केस उसके ऊपर फाइल नहीं होता है। In each and every circumstances, the law should prevail equally here. Whatever circumstances are there, law remain the same for every person in the country. There should be no discrimination or specific favoritism shown any particular person or a class here. So every law should be equally disseminated. Disseminated means distributed, should be given here. Law is equally and it should be equally applicable to everyone here. Law should be equally disseminated. Distributed means given to all the citizens of India. Every person shall have equal admittance to the public places. So that is a equal admittance. Admittance means all the citizens in the country are equally allowed to get admittance. Admittance enter करने, कहाँ पर enter होने के लिए? Public places है, जितने भी public places है, shops है, restaurants है, hotels है, public restaurants है, entertainment places है, okay, equal, all they have equal access of roads, lakes, useful public ways and bathing guards. Person are not denied on the बेस ऑफ रिलीजन लिंग्विस्टिक टू एंटर इन द पब्लिक प्लेसेस। आप बस स्टैंड पर, रेलवे स्टेशन पर, ओके, पोस्ट ऑफिस में, जो भी बैंक के अंदर, कोई ऐसा नहीं बोल सकता है यू बिलोंग टू द रिलीजन तो आपको अलाउ नहीं करेंगे। So all the persons are equally allowed to enter in these public places and these shops and restaurants here. So state has a right to make any special arrangement for the women and children. Okay, for the protection of women and for the protection of children, state has some right to make a special arrangement. उसके लिए special arrangement करते हैं, okay, किसके लिए? Children के लिए, for the girls, for the women के लिए. So even some of the social and education backward class के लिए, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe के लिए special arrangement has been made here. It doesn't mean it violation of a fundamental right. For the upliftment of these section, the women, children, educational backward section, caste जो है, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe है, उसके डेवलपमेंट के लिए certain special arrangement has been made in the constitution. उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि वो law के against में है. The principle for equal pay for the equal work is also, okay, apart from this article, equal pay for the equal work is also this right to equality के अंदर ही include किया जाता है. Second number, right to constitutional remedies. So no matter how many laws are framed or how many provisions are made for the fundamental rights, if they are not implemented as well, so there remains no meaning to have such a kind of a freedom or right. Look, whatever the rights has been framed in a country, whatever the laws has been mentioned in a constitution, whatever the rights has been mentioned in a constitution, but if they are not followed properly here, if they are not implemented properly, so there is no meaning to have a kind of a rights, a kind of a constitution here. Now, okay, there is no meaning to have. Now, whatever that, if they are not followed the way, अच्छी तरह से फॉलो नहीं किया जाता है, तो उसके लिए फॉलो करवाने के लिए वायोलेशंस होता है, तो उसके अगेंस्ट में कुछ स्टेप हो सके, रेमेडीज हो सके, इसकी वजह राइट टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रेमेडीज एक्ट रखा गया है. देयरफॉर द प्रोविजन हैज बीन मेड इन अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन फॉर द इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ दिस राइट्स. राइट सही तरह से इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं हो रहा है, आपका राइट वायोलेशन हो रहा है. इफ योर फंडामेंटल राइट्स हैज बीन वायोलेटेड, यू कैन फाइल द केस इन द कोर्ट. आप कोर्ट के अंदर जा सकते हो. सो रीट इन द सुप्रीम कोर्ट, रीट द केस इन द सुप्रीम कोर्ट कैन बी मेड इन वायोलेशन ऑफ फंडामेंटल राइट. आप कोई भी दूसरे केस के अंदर डायरेक्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट में नहीं जा सकते, बट यू थिंक देयर योर फंडामेंटल राइट्स हैज बीन वायोलेटेड. इन द वायोलेशन ऑफ अ फंडामेंटल राइट यू डायरेक्टली रीच इन द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. You can directly file a writ in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court के अंदर आप writ फाइल कर सकते हो in the violation of fundamental right. बाकी के लिए आपको जो कोर्ट का प्रोसीड्यूर है वो फॉलो करना पड़ेगा. This right has been accepted as a right to constitutional remedies. Okay, right to constitutional remedies, okay, to implement the whatever the freedoms, whatever the rights has been given, वो सही तरह से implement हो, उसका violation ना हो, उसकी वजह से right to constitutional remedies भी रखा गया है कि क्योंकि हर एक citizen को ये right है कि उसके violations, उसके rights violate हो रहे हैं, उसके fundamental rights नहीं मिल रहे, तो उसके अगेंस्ट में हो जाके केस कर सकता है, डायरेक्टली सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जा सकता है, नो डाउट हाई कोर्ट में के अंदर भी हो सकता है। तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट प्लेज एन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल इन प्रोटेक्टिंग द फंडामेंटल राइट्स। Supreme Court is a guardians of fundamental rights, protect the rights of a citizen, and if the court find necessary then it can give order or instruction। कोर्ट को ऐसा लगता है कि फंडामेंटल राइट्स का वायोलेशन हो रहा है तो it can give orders और necessary steps भी वो ले सकते हैं। Apex court here means a topmost court of a country, highest court of a country क्या है? सुप्रीम कोर्ट है, इसको अपेक्स कोर्ट है इंडिया की। with the powers has been given constitution, nobody can oppose it, nobody can oppose the judgment of a supreme court। सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट सबको मानना रहेगा, ओके। सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट जो है कैन नॉट बी मेक अ रिव्यूज एनीवेयर। सो पर्सन पुट हु कंप्लेन अगेन इन स्टेट और वायलेशन ऑफ any fundamental rights, then supreme court can exercise। if some person individually a good person who found that their fundamental rights has been violated, they can make a writ into the court। कोर्ट का जो जजमेंट रहेगा वो फॉलो करना पड़ेगा। कैन एक्सरसाइज द राइट्स, सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो अधिकार है। So Baba Sahib Ambedkar considered the right to constitution as a soul of these constitutions here। right to constitutional remedies को ने soul of a constitution क्या गया कि बंधारण कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का सोल हियर मीन्स आत्मा है, इंपोर्टेंट पार्ट है। So thus these rights provide the opportunity to all the citizens of approach court for violation of a fundamental right। So these right to constitutional remedies provide right to citizen to approach court under the violation of these fundamental right। थर्ड नंबर है राइट टू फ्रीडम। राइट टू फ्रीडम ऑलरेडी 6 फ्रीडम पहले हमने भी डिस्कस किया था, वही आएगी। सो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया प्रोवाइड द सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया इज 6 टाइप्स ऑफ फ्रीडम विच आर एज फॉलो। फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच एंड एक्सप्रेशन ऑलरेडी आगे हमने डिस्कस किया है थोड़ा पार्ट। असेंबल पीसफुली विदाउट आर्म, टू फॉर्म एसोसिएशन और यूनियन, टू मूव फ्रीली थ्रू आउट द टेरिटरीज ऑफ इंडिया, to reside and settle any part of the territories of India, and to practice any profession or carry out any occupation, trade or business। These are 6 freedoms has been given। उसके बारे में और दूसरा भी है आगे। So these rights are utmost important for overall development of a country। ये टॉप मोस्ट इंपोर्टेंस है किसका? फंडामेंटल राइट का, राइट टू फ्रीडम जो दिया गया हो। सो फॉर द ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट ऑफ अ सिटीजन्स इन अ कंट्री। Now state can control and limit the rights to freedom if they go against the welfare, peace and security of a society। Look at, if some person who violate these right to freedom, so state has a state here means government has a, so government can control it, can make a certain restrictions in the use of these fundamental right। So this has been clearly mentioned in the constitution। What clearly mentioned in the constitution? It has been mentioned how these rights are being exercised here। is that constitution how the rights are exercised, how these fundamental rights, how the rights to freedom has been exercised, उसको कैसे एक्सरसाइज करना है, उसके लिमिटेशंस और उसके बारे में वहाँ पर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अंदर लिखा गया है। So latest amendment 2009 is Constitution of India। Okay, a confer, what it confer, they gives free and compulsory primary education। RTE जो है, RTE is a part of a right to freedom। RTE is a part of a right to freedom का ही एक पार्ट है। चिल्ड्रन बिटवीन 6 to 14 ईयर का जो उसको एजुकेशन राइट है, दैट ऑल्सो प्रोवाइड राइट टू फ्रीडम के अंदर ही इंक्लूड किया जाता है। इफ अ पर्सन इज नॉट कन्विक्टेड फॉर अ क्राइम, इफ अ पर्सन, अगर पर्सन इज नॉट कन्विक्टेड और क्राइम के लिए उसको कन्विक्ट नहीं किया, माना नहीं गया कि पर्सन क्रिमिनल है, ऐसा माना नहीं गया है, सो देन ही कैन नॉट बी सेंटेंस टू द पनिशमेंट। अगर उसको क्रिमिनल पर्सन माना, नो डाउट पर्सन कैन बी अरेस्टेड, उसको कोर्ट में हाजिर भी किया जाता है। कोर्ट के अंदर ऐसा होता है कि इट नॉट अ क्रिमिनल पर्सन, तो क्रिमिनल नहीं होने की वजह से उसको छोड़ दिया जाता है, ऐसा नहीं कि उसको पनिशमेंट मिलती है। और कैन नॉट बी सेंटेंस टू द पनिशमेंट, उसको पनिशमेंट नहीं दी सकती, और मोर पनिशमेंट देन प्रिस्क्राइब इन द लॉ। If a person who found convicted, convicted means वो गुनेगार है, convicted means गुनेगार, not convicted में गुनेगार नहीं है, वो क्रिमिनल नहीं है, okay, for a crime, जो क्राइम ने गुनाह किया है उसकी वजह। If they are found criminal और क्रिमिनल है, convicted है, तो कौन सा टाइप का उन्हें गुनाह किया है, कौन से टाइप का उन्होंने क्राइम किया है, वो क्राइम के हिसाब से उसको पनिशमेंट मिलती है। प्रिस्क्राइब इन लॉ, लॉ के अंदर जो भी पनिशमेंट प्रिस्क्राइब किए उसके हिसाब से पनिशमेंट मिलेगी, कि उससे कम उससे ज़्यादा पनिशमेंट नहीं दी जाती है उनको। No individual can be deprived his life or liberty except the procedures of law. Procedure of law हर एक को कोर्ट का जो प्रोसीड्यूर है उनका अधिकार है. ए पर्सन वाज अरेस्टेड, पर्सन को अरेस्ट किया जाता है विद इन 24 आवर टू बी प्रेजेंटेड इन योर नियरेस्ट कोर्ट. उसका लॉयर होगा, उसकी प्रोसीडिंग पूरी हो सकती है वहां पर कोर्ट के अंदर. सो नो इंडिविजुअल कैन बी डिप्राइव हिज लाइफ और लिबर्टी बाय प्रोसीड्यूर ऑफ लॉ. An arrested person has to be brought before the nearest magistrate. Nearest magistrate जो होता है, nearest मेरे डिस्ट्रिक्ट का मैजिस्ट्रेट जो कोर्ट होता है वहाँ पर 24 आवर के अंदर अरेस्टेड पर्सन शुड बी प्रेजेंटेड डे. जो भी अरेस्ट किया जाता है उनको वहाँ पर लाया जाता है. बाद में कोर्ट डिसाइड करेगी उसको अरेस्ट रखना है, उसको जेल में रखना है कि नहीं रखना है, उसको रिलीव करना है कि क्या करना है, वो बेल देनी है कि नहीं उसकी. राइट अगेंस्ट एक्सप्लॉइटेशन हियर. फोर्थ नंबर, राइट अगेंस्ट एक्सप्लॉइटेशन. Okay, the main objective of a constitution is to see any person does not suffer exploitation and hand other person exploitation free society. Main purpose is to make exploitation free societies here. Now human trafficking, drudgery, slavery, forced labors are banned. We already discussed this. The violation of these rights is punishable offense. If some person who doing kind of a human traffickings are found there, slavery, forced labor को पाया जाता है, the person can be arrested and put into the jail here. Violation of a fundamental rights के हिसाब से violation of these rights are a punishable offense. Punishable offense है, punishable offense है, आपको सजा हो सकती है. Illegal trade of a children, women, forced labor, imposed slavery, work without pay, this has been ended through this right against exploitation here. Now to take work from any persons without paying them. कोई व्यक्ति के पास आप काम करवा रहे हो पर उसको पे नहीं कर रहे हो, और पेइंग देम द लेस मिनिमम वेजेस, वो जो मिनिमम वेज जो डिसाइड है उससे भी आप उसको कम पैसे दे रहे हो, फोर्सफुली उसके पास से आप काम करवा रहे हो. ओके, दीज आर द पनिशेबल ऑफेंस. पनिशेबल ऑफेंस और क्राइम है ये. Any children under the age of 14 cannot be to work in a factories, mine, and dangerous profession, garage, whatever, cannot be employed as a household servant under the age of 14 as a kind of a crime. Under another prohibition of a child labor act के हिसाब से all these are punishable offense. वो सब punishable offense है. Fifth number, directive principle for economic policy. Okay, directive principle of economic policy. While making the economic policies of a country, what should be mentioned here? These are the directions which given to the government. Okay, while making economic policy जब बनाते हैं तो वो पॉलिसी के अंदर क्या क्या पॉइंट इंक्लूड करने चाहिए. सो डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल पॉलिसी जो है, इट इज नॉट मैंडेटरी फॉर द गवर्नमेंट टू फॉलो इट. अगर वो फॉलो नहीं करते तो आप कोर्ट में भी नहीं जा सकते हो. सो प्रिंसिपल है, दीज आर द गाइडलाइंस कि ऐसा टू फ्रेम द गुड सोसाइटीज, वेलफेयर ऑफ सोसाइटी, दिस प्रिंसिपल मस्ट बी देयर. For the modification of economic policy, there are certain principles which are as given below. सर प्रिंसिपल है, कौन सा है? Equal distribution of wealth resources among all the classes for the welfare of a citizen. So whatever the resources are there, whatever the wealth are there, it should be equally distributed among all the classes of a societies here and all the citizens of a country. Assets and productions of resources should be not distributed. Should not be distributed to certain group or section. Whatever the assets, whatever the properties, whatever the resources we have, they should not be distributed among one particular group of a class, a particular section of. Should not be administered by the state. Okay, this should be administered by the administer means this should be controlled by the state. कि सोसाइटी के अंदर एक ही जो एक ग्रुप है, एक ही सर्टेन कोई सेक्शन है, क्लास है, कि वही रिसोर्सेज को कंट्रोल कर रहा है, ऐसा नहीं है. अपॉर्चुनिटी मस्ट बी गिवन टू ऑल द सिटीजन्स, ऑल द पर्सन्स, पीपल्स इन द कंट्री. Equal pay for equal work, both men and women are working in a one institutions. If they are doing the same kind of a work, they must be paid a same salary here. Provision for good health for labor working as a place should be created. Provision for good health. So labor, wherever the laborers who are working, hygiene area must be maintained there. Good health healthy area must be maintained. Help for the labor working at the place should be created here. So protection of a children, youth against exploitations and lives in the live in the healthy and dignified environment. These principles should be developed in the state here. So thus protection of a children. Children should not be work in a mining area, industrial area. Exploitation-free society must be there, and to live in a healthy life wherever they are working must be healthy life. Dignified environment वहाँ पर होना चाहिए. That principle must be mentioned in the while making this policy. Relief and leave at the time of delivery should be provided to the women. So as a maternity leave should be given to the women during that pregnancy के time पर relief work, leave work should be given to them. Workers insurance, worker insurance, bonus, maternity leave, gratuity, and other legal rights should be included in this economic policy. To reorganize agriculture and animal husbandry on modern and scientific lines. So to organize agriculture, जो भी है most of population in the country depend on agriculture. So agriculture को development के लिए, animal husbandry का development के लिए modern scientific line का use करना चाहिए, scientific method use करनी चाहिए. States should organize free legal services to the desired citizens who are financially feeble, those who are the poor or not able to pay a fee of a court. So legal guidance must be given to them. Free legal services should be provided to the persons. 6 number, directive principle for political and international relations here. प्रिंसिपल फॉर द पॉलिटिकल एंड इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन बनाने के टाइम पर क्या क्या पॉइंट इंक्लूड करने चाहिए, उसमें से थोड़े 3 यहाँ पर है कि पंचायती राज शुड बी एस्टैब्लिश्ड बाय द स्टेट. पंचायती राज local self governance should be established in the state, for which proper leadership, officers, financial aid should be provided to conduct for the work in a free way. Panchayati Raj should be Gram Panchayat, Taluka Panchayat, Jilla Panchayat. These are comes under the Panchayati Raj. Next, the state should separate its services from corporate mindedness, and it should be in a liberty so that judges can be impartially or fearlessly. The state should have a separate services of the political services, and as well as judiciary systems must be a separate here. So political pressure must not be there on the judge, or so judge can make a impartial or fearless judgments, so they can do the good judgment for the societies here. Number 3, the state should make attempts to maintain international peace, security, to establish fair relations between nations, and to increase respect of international law. So in international terms of, state should make attempts to maintain international peace. We always try to make a kind of international peace, and we should try to maintain international securities and establish fair relations between nations, good relation, friendly relations between two countries. Number 3, this video may be a long, and long may be होने वाला ही है, long है ही. So that question 3 है जो give reason for the following statement. Explanation यहाँ पर थोड़ा कम होगा, आंसर जल्दी हो जाए. One can go to the court of law to seek protection against a violation of a fundamental rights. If your rights has been violated, तो आप कोर्ट की मदद ले सकते हो. So each citizen of India has been given a fundamental rights. Each citizens can enjoy them without any discrimination. So that has been discussed already. No state can frame any laws which takes away fundamental rights of a citizen. So no one can frame the kind of act which take the fundamental rights of the citizen. A writ in the Supreme Court made in the violation of a fundamental right. If you find that your fundamental rights has been violated, writ can be made in the court. Case can be filed into the court under the violation of a fundamental right. If any person puts a complaint against any state for the violations of any fundamental rights, nobody can oppose it. Okay, if any person who put the complaint that their fundamental rights has been violated, so under the violation of fundamental rights, so nobody can oppose. Nobody court के अंदर कहीं पर भी इसका oppose नहीं हो सकता है. The Supreme Court plays an important role in the protecting the fundamental rights and For this, the court find necessary, then it can give order for the decrease or decrease. Decree वाला order ही होता है उनका, okay, official statement उनको दे सकते हैं. So plays an important role for the protection of fundamental rights. If they think there, so they can make an order and protect the rights of the citizen. Second, right to constitutional remedy is like a constitutional soul. So as per the constitution, each citizen is given a fundamental rights. Provisions are made on constitution for the implementation of these rights here. A writ in the Supreme Court can be made for the violation of a fundamental right. So constitution soul, these rights of constitutional remedies, it protect the rights of a citizens here, and the violation of fundamental rights, it give a right to the citizens of India to file the writ into the Supreme Court here. So Dr. Bimrao Ambedkar said that right to constitutional, this right has been accepted as a right to constitutional remedies here. So the Supreme Court plays an important role in protecting the fundamental rights. ये already हमने short note के अंदर discuss किया हुआ है. If the courts find necessary, then it can give order or instructions or decrees in protection of a right. So Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar considered right to constitutional remedy as a soul of a constitution. Third number, freedom cannot be unlimited or absolute here. Okay, cannot be unlimited or absolute. Total आपको freedom नहीं है. Certain restrictions are there. So Indian citizens are given a various freedom. 6 types of freedom जो हमने discuss की थी, various. The state can control limits the rights of freedom. Okay, right to freedoms are given there, but it cannot be used unlimited. Absolute freedom नहीं है आपके पास. Certain restrictions are there, and if they are go against the welfare, peace, and security of a society, certain steps can be taken here. Any individual cannot exercise these freedom autonomously or irresponsibly. There must be a responsibility of a citizen to utilize these rights. It has been clearly stated in a constitution how the rights are exercised here. So the state can put required controls and through the laws and order for maintaining unities, maintaining peace in the countries, and unities of countries can be maintained while taking certain kinds of controls over the right to freedom. So it is authorities of judiciary whether these many limitations are appropriate or inappropriate. If a state, if a government who put certain limitation to exercise right to freedom, whatever the limitation has been made by the government, whatever the limitation made by the parliament, the limitations are appropriate. If they are inappropriate, that looks by the judiciary. Generally, it looks by the Supreme Court of a country. So hence freedoms cannot be unlimited or it cannot be absolute here. Fourth number, directive principles of state policy are the preconditions for the utilization of a fundamental rights. So directive principles of a state policy are preconditions. Okay, there are the certain rights which were the part of a directive principle policy. उसके बाद में वो fundamental rights के अंदर include किए गए हैं. Okay, utilization of fundamental rights here. Okay, the objectives of this directive principle क्या है कि of this state policy to guide the present and future and central and state government. Main aims of this directive to give a directions. To whom to give a direction? Central government or state government in the policy making or in the various policy related field. So these principles do not serve the legal guidance. These principles, whatever the principles has been mentioned in directive, they are not a legal protections. These are the guidance. If the government do not follow, if the government not follow this, so that is not kind of a writ cannot be filed in the court. While not ऐसा government ये directive principle को utilize नहीं करते हैं, policy के अंदर include नहीं करते हैं, तो आप उसके अगेंस्ट में कोर्ट में केस नहीं कर सकते हो. Some rights are included in a constitutions in fundamental rights. They could be given at the same times. Well, while some rights are included in the directive principle. Okay, some rights has been given in the directive principle. Some rights have been mentioned. Some freedoms has been mentioned in a fundamental rights. Fundamental rights के लिए आपको protection मिलता है. But some rights जो दिए गए हैं directive principles के अंदर, okay, while some rights have been included in a directive principle are not protected. As a state administration becomes stable and strong, these rights can be given to the citizens in a future. Like right to education was a part of a right directive principle of a state policy. Later on is included fundamental rights. वो पहले डीपीएसपी में था, बाद में फंडामेंटल राइट्स के अंदर इंक्लूड किया गया एज अ गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, कंट्रीज एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन बिकम स्टेबल, फाइनेंशियली अच्छी कंडीशन हो जाती है, तो मेरे राइट में इंक्लूडेड इन दिस फंडामेंटल राइट्स. So it can be said the directive principle of state policy are the precondition for the utilization of the fundamental rights. Fifth number, formation of society without exploitation is the important aims of a constitution. Okay. Main objectives of constitution is to establish exploitation-free societies. Okay, बहुत बार डिस्कस किया. Illegal trade of children, women, forced labor, imposed slavery, work without pay, all drudgery system has to be ended through this right against exploitations here. Already we discussed many times this point. Any children aged under the age of 14 cannot be worked in a factories, mine or in dangerous profession, garage, hotel, cannot be employed as a household servant. ये सब कुछ हमने डिस्कस किया हुआ है. अनदर देखिए प्रोविजन फॉर चाइल्ड लेबर एक्ट, ऑल दीज आर पनिशेबल ऑफेंस हियर. So this can be said that formation of a societies without exploitation is the important aims of our constitution. Important aim to make a society is a exploitation free society. Sixth number, directive principles and fundamental rights are not against each other. वो दोनों के against में नहीं है, they are not against each other, they are complementary each other. So other instead they are complement each other. Now the directive principles provide guidance to the state, okay, leads toward the establishment of equal, just and social order without any exploitation. These directive principles provide a guidance to lead the society, to lead or to develop the countries here. And now the directive principle imagine future society. Imagine a future society, what kind of a societies which we want to construct here, what kind of values we want to install in the societies here, guide us to the direction that we should go in a leads in our destination here. Now fundamental rights limits state leadership, while state leadership means that must be given. Fundamental rights are there, it must be given to the citizens of India. Is the basic freedom to the citizens of India, while directive principles extend the state leadership. Now fundamental rights make the existence of a democracy, a democratic government, we require a right. Certain freedom must be given to the citizens of India, while directive principles of society imparts aims or interrelations of a democracy here. Society impart aims for the interrelations of a democracy. Now there is no opposition between them, both are complete complete each other. Opposition नहीं है, एक दूसरे के complement है. 7 number, duties and rights are the side of a coin. Duties and rights, if you follow the rights, if you follow the duties, you get your rights here. So citizens of India country are given some fundamental rights in the constitution for the India's stability, protection of citizens, freedoms and democracy. So in the same way, various fundamental duties, responsibilities are incorporated by the constitution amendment in 1976, included love for the nation, integrity, various high ideals and various awareness among the citizens has been mentioned here. These are responsibility of citizen has been mentioned there. So no state can frame such a laws that fundamental rights of any citizen get violated here. No one can make such kind of a acts which violate the fundamental rights here. So some duties are backed by the law, the persons. So some duties, fundamental duties are backed by the law. If the persons violate, it can be sentenced. The duties and rights are considered the side of a coin here. 8 number, child labor is a punishable offense. Again, exploitations wala hi hai. So each citizen of a countries are given various freedoms in India. As persons, any child under the age of 14 cannot be made to work in a factory, mine or in dangerous profession, garage, hotel, or cannot be made employed as households servant. So another prohibitions of Child Labor Act, all above things are punishable offense. So it can be said that child labor is a punishable offense. Okay. 9 number, for the implementation of directive principles, one cannot resort to the code of law. Okay, so these the directive principle are actually direction given by the constitution to the union state government to frame the various policies. The directive DPSP as guidance or directions which given to the frame the various policies to the government here. Now there is no provision in the constitution implementation of these principle. ऐसा कोई प्रोविजन नहीं है कि जो भी डीपीएसपी डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल है उसको फॉलो ही करना है. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द government to accept or reject it. Whatever the directions given, it should be accepted or reject. It depend on the government here while making the policies, those who take as a guidance or not. So these fundamental principles do not provide any legal support or legal right. ये fundamental जो principle है do not provide legal support or legal rights उसको नहीं देते कि अगर वो accept नहीं करते तो आप उसके लिए कोर्ट में नहीं जा सकते हो. So it is a moral responsibility of the state to keep these principles in the center for framing any policy. Now it is a duties of a government while framing the policy, and the DPSP should be kept in the center. Directive principles are the foundations for the rule of a regime, regions or area here. So the principle serves as a guidelines to the government in the various policy making, directive principles. Now one cannot resort to code of law for the implementation of these principle or these fundamental these directive principle. These principles do not serve the legal rights or legal backing or legal utilizations. However, these principles guide states to frame the laws and as a administration here. ये ऑलरेडी हमने डिस्कस कर चुका वही पॉइंट है. सो डॉक्टर बाबा साहब अम्बेडकर से दे टू रूल द रिजाइम रिजाइम एरिया रीजन कंट्री स्टेट को रूल करने के लिए दिस प्रिंसिपल्स आर द फाउंडेशंस. Therefore, it can be said that the directive principles are the foundation of implementation of the directive principles here. Number 11, without a social and economic democracy, political democracy cannot be achieved here. So for the primary aim of a directive principle is to establish a social system based on social and economic and political justice here. So main of a directive principle to make a societies based on social, based on economic and political justice सभी को. So for the fulfillment of this objective and aims of the state, the principle serves as a guideline. So for fulfillment of this objective and aims जो है this principle and DPSP serves as a guideline. So some of the rights are included in a directive principles. So these rights are given to the people. State leadership become stable and strong. So thus political democracy was established in our constitution, but political democracy is incomplete without social and economic democracy. So this DPSP, this social and economic development के लिए हमें DPSP का यूज करना चाहिए. 12 number, preservation of cultural and historical heritage is a fundamental duties of everyone. It's a duties of citizens to preserve the cultural heritage of India. So the people of India were more aware of their rights and duties since ancient time. So various fundamental duties were incorporated by the Constitution amendment in 1976. Now it is a duties of state to protect conserve each of every buildings, place, monuments should be protected by. It is the duties of citizens also. It should be protected, the heritage places of India. So we should prevent destructions of art, architecture, heritage buildings, monuments, and protect against the destruction and robbery. So we should protect our cultural places. We should protect our heritage places here. We should not make a destruction there. Robbery, loot फाट वहाँ पर नहीं होनी चाहिए. Now it can be said that it is a duties of every citizen of our country to see that cultural and historical heritage is considered in the country. Now here objectives are given here. Okay, number one, which rights is considered as a soul by the by Dr. Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar ji ने क्या बोला? Right to constitutional remedies here. Second number, according to the whom directive principle of state policy are the principles of okay foundations here. उसमें भी आएगा उसके हिसाब से क्या डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आम्बेडकर ये. थर्ड नंबर क्या है? अ पर्सन डिटेन अंडर द प्रिवेंटिव डिटेंशन कैन नॉट बी केप्ट डिटेन फॉर हाउ मच टाइम? कैन नॉट बी किससे ज्यादा? तो आंसर आएगा 3 मंथ से ज्यादा वो नहीं हो सकता है. 3 मंथ, सॉरी 24 नहीं 3 आएगा यहाँ पर. ओके, so children under which age group have the right of free and compulsory education? So 6 to 14 year. Okay, first D, second D, third C and fourth A. Okay, fifth number, child under which age groups are restricted for the dangerous professions? So child under the age of 14, below the age of 14, which behavior is considered social stigma of society as a untouchability here. So 5th and 6th दोनों में A आएगा. Okay, these are the answer of lesson number 9. आपने देखा lesson number 9 भी long है, उसकी exercise भी long है, उसका आंसर भी long है. I try to make them a short here. जितना हो सके उतना मैंने ये आंसर को short यहाँ पर बनाया हुआ है. I hope this you like these videos. और ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि बहुत long video है. Okay, long video बना हुआ है because of a discussion of answer and long exercise. The videos are long. Okay. So आपने चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो सब्सक्राइब कीजिए and share with your friend. If you have any queries, so you can ask me in this video comments, or you can send me the email on this provided email. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to channels and share with your friends. Thank you.